good evening. My whole business, my life is now about awareness. And I can see a lot of women at the end of the evening here. And my life and the work that I do is focusing on awareness. But what I want to ask you all is, what if being aware was more than just seeing? And what if it meant truly registering? That's something that I think about a lot in my work, and I'll explain why. Understanding and taking responsibility for everything we do, everything we affect, and everything we ignore. That, to me, is responsibility and awareness. I left school quite young, 15, and I relocated to just outside London. And I went to work because I had to go from one extreme to the other with my ADHD. But I went to work at a really well-known stables who trained horses for film and TV work. So my apprenticeship was to learn how to fall off horses and get paid for it. So the horses and I were actually doing things that was against our better judgment and against our natural instincts. So that was my first introduction to control. And it was a very, very male-dominated industry. I think I was the only woman that worked there, and I actually think it was a fluke. I don't think they realised what they took on. But one of the things that I found working with these incredible animals was empathy, which I found a lot of the people I worked with didn't have, but I was in a different mindset than them, I suppose. It was a lesson in control, how power was implemented onto others, and how it can push others beyond their natural limitations. So for a horse to jump through a hoop of fire, or for me to, catapult up 6 feet in the air, wasn't a natural thing to do. And as I grew and I matured into my career, I realised that not everything is about control. I actually learned that true strength often lies in our ability to listen and to negotiate. So listen and negotiate was my way of dealing in a very male-dominated industry. Now, whether it was with the horses, which I had to negotiate with a lot, or in a male-dominated environment where I worked, listening was a really critical skill, and it is in every part of our daily lives, particularly what is happening in the world at the moment. Negotiation and listening. Listening isn't just hearing words, it's understanding motivation, fears and desires. I wasn't always in a position to assert control, so I had to learn how to compromise. I then transitioned crazily into television, and I found myself once again, if any of you have worked in television and are in television or media, particularly television, in a very male-dominated industry. But this time, I was a director-producer, and I was at the other side of the camera. And I was one of the few women to work on set with horses, I was now one of the few women, CEO of a production studio that was actually getting their work commissioned. I wanted to do programs that were storytelling, that actually told real stories about real people, women, who had achieved against all odds their dreams, like I had as a 15-year-old young girl. And I went on to produce and have commissioned 137 shows for TV. The reason I was determined to make these shows was to focus on telling the stories of the women that defied all expectations. They had a fierce drive, a relentless focus, and a willingness to step outside the social expectations. But they also shared something else, an ability to listen because they had to, like I did, to negotiate because they had to, like I did, but also to bring others along with them. Their stories, to me, are a testament to what is possible when we embrace our awareness. Listen wisely and use the skills as catalysts for change. Where I am now, beyond my television work, I am very proud to be an ambassador for Refuge, which is the UK's leading domestic abuse charity. And also, I'm honoured to work with Dr. Jane Goodall Institute, Roots and Shoots programme. And it has, by working with these two organisations, deepened my commitment to fighting injustice. We become aware of the signs of abuse. If we do, at Refuge, we can intervene and we can save lives by just being aware of signs. Not just ignoring them, but being aware. Because abuse, believe me, can take many guises: financial, physical, mental abuse. With the Dr. Jane Goodall Institute, the goal there is to raise a generation of young people that are aware of the impact they are having on our planet and empower them to take action. Whether it's protecting women, animals, or the environment, awareness is the first step, but it's action that drives, not just thinking about it. Action isn't about just big gestures, it's about the small everyday choices that you can make. It's moments we choose to speak up instead of shutting up and not speaking out for those who cannot speak for themselves. And there are many of those people out there at this moment in time. Extend a hand instead of walking away. That's where the real difference is. You might think it's a small thing, but to others, it could be life-changing or life-saving. Goodness me, we all know about the awful tragedies that is happening across the world. But for many of us, that knowledge still remains distant. It's over there, it's not our trouble. We've seen it on the TV tonight, we don't have to worry about it. Well, you do. Awareness requires us to engage, confront uncomfortable truths that you're seeing on your TVs and reading, and take responsibility for the changes we can make. This shift in thought from why to what turns awareness into action. Believe me, when you light that flame in your heart to make a difference and to make a stand for someone who can't speak for themselves, you have lit a flame in your heart that cannot be extinguished. I want to ask yourself, all of you, one question. Please, what are you truly aware of, and what are you all doing about it? Awareness is not just about seeing what's wrong, it's about feeling deeply enough to be moved. Whether it's standing up for someone who has no voice, protecting a creature that cannot protect itself, or challenging a system that needs to change, the responsibility lies with each of us. For all the great leaders and game changers who achieved incredible things, awareness without action is completely empty and a waste of time. Dr. Jane Goodall, who I'm honoured to work with and have as a mentor, has said to me, what you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. So I'm challenging all of you people in this room tonight to step out of your comfort zone and take what you've become aware of and turn it into something meaningful. Because If you or you don't act, who is going to? So if you leave here tonight, I ask you to hold on to this awareness. Please let it ignite the fire in your heart. And remember, the power to change the world begins with the choices you make tomorrow. Thank you.